The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Good morning and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the world to you. I'm your guest host, Ramon Rodriguez, filling in for Darren Jaime, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our community and around the world. Leading off the show, we'll break down the latest headlines in national and international news. After that, we'll find out how Montefiore will give your kids a smile for free. Next, schools around the Bronx are at risk of closing, and we'll hear from one local official who is taking a stand to save our schools. Plus, we'll celebrate Black History Month by highlighting some African American trailblazers that made an impact in our Bronx community. And finally, our BronxNet cameras will go out into the open and showcase the history of the Bronx through photography. So stay tuned. All this and much more is headed your way because we are now officially open. Welcome back. I'm your host, Ramon Rodriguez. Today is Wednesday, February 6, 2013, and you're watching Open, the only live and interactive program bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to your TV set. We want to hear from you, so tweet us at BronxNet TV, and we'll air what you have to say all throughout our program. Here's a look at some of the latest headlines in the world of news and politics. Former Mayor Ed Koch was laid to rest this past Monday in a temple on the Upper East Side, where thousands gathered to say a farewell to the man known as New York's biggest cheerleader. In his time in office, Mr. Koch was known to many as the mayor who brought New York back from the brink of bankruptcy. And here in the Bronx, Mr. Koch worked to revitalize housing in arson-damaged areas. Koch worked in partnership with the Southeast Bronx Community Organization and ultimately allotted $5.4 billion towards housing projects, creating a number of jobs along with about 150,000 affordable housing units. Those who knew Koch say his belief and spirit of New York City and New Yorkers was unmatched by anyone. Here on the set of Open, we offer our condolences to the friends and family of Ed Koch. He will be greatly missed. In Washington, President Obama has urged Congress to rapidly pass a new package with limited spending cuts and increased taxes to avoid overall spending reductions and the threat of another budget sequester. Although President Obama does not state that this will be a permanent solution resulting in a balanced budget, he believes for the time being this will remove the risk of thousands of Americans losing their jobs. Many Republicans in Congress are not on board with this plan, but President Obama believes if the two parties do not work together and pass something soon, progress to improve our economy will take a large step backwards. From the White House, the U.S. drone strikes on U.S. citizens abroad, labeled by government officials to be involved in high-level terrorist activity, was defended on the theory that this will protect our country from terrorist attacks and save American lives. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney told reporters that these strikes are legal, they are ethical, and they are wise. The American Civil Liberties Union has responded to this recently discovered document, stating it is profoundly disturbing. And on the international front, a forceful earthquake has generated a 1.5-meter tsunami off the Solomon Islands in the South Pacific. Dozens of homes were left damaged, and there have been at least 5 deaths reported as of now, caused by the earthquake. According to numbers released by the Health Department, courtesy of the Daily News, teen pregnancy rates have plunged by 27% nationally as a result of the city making contraceptives more available and affordable. Unfortunately, here in the borough of the Bronx, these numbers do not apply. Many say this is caused by the tie between pregnancy and poverty that has not come to an end. Without equal access to education, students in the Bronx are not made aware of the resources available to them. And those are some of the latest headlines. We'll take a break right now, but when we return, we'll find out how to give our kids a smile.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
The magical thing about using energy wisely is that anyone can do it. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off computers and game systems when not in use. Make a change and we can really fly. Grab a grown-up and go online to energy.gov/kids.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
For you. Hey, Mom.
You know, girls, I used to cheer back in my day. Ready? Okay! Go team!
That was amazing. 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 Mom! That was amazing.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Ramon Rodriguez. On February 21st, Montefiore Dental Clinics will be offering free screenings for children between the ages of 2 and 13. And here to tell us more about how you can give your kids a smile for free is Dr. Isabel Garcia of Montefiore Medical Center. Doctor, always a pleasure to have you, and thank you for being on our show.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
So, the month of February is Oral Health Month,
That is correct.
Okay.
It's the month of oral health, and one of the things that we'd like to do in Montefiore is to promote, to encourage our patients or little kids or parents to bring the kids to the dentist, and obviously we're providing a free screening. We have this event going on February the 21st, when we're going to do the free screening of the patients and try to encourage our patients and parents to bring the kids and provide some dental work.
Now, as a dentist and someone who's been engaged in this field for a while now, and some of the other interactions that we've had, what do you attribute that would be the biggest cause of the reluctance of parents taking their children to the dentist?
And it's my belief that one of the biggest concerns is because the parents will say, well, they're baby teeth, they're going to fall off. So It's not that important to take the kids to the dentist.
And that's, of course, a fallacy.
Of course it is, definitely. The fact that the kids is young and they have baby teeth, they have primary dentition, they're only going to be there for a while, but it's important because we need to keep the space that we have so the permanent teeth can come in and they can be nice and straight.
I see. So at what age, I mean, I know that the promo indicates that you're going to have this free clinic for children between the ages of 2 and 13. Is 2 years old the optimum age to begin to take children to the dentist?
Actually, 1 year old.
1 year old.
That's
okay.
correct.
And why is that?
Because when the kid has the first tooth, we can bring the kids into the dental office. We can teach the parents how to keep the teeth, how to keep it healthy, clean, how to clean the mouth, and give you a lot of instructions to the parents how to be able to maintain a good oral hygiene into the kids.
Now, notwithstanding the fact that you're having this free clinic on the during this month, or actually on the 21st, I guess,
yes,
right?
Correct.
What are the biggest problems that you do see with children when they are brought to the dental clinic initially?
One of the biggest problems that we see is we see a lot of cavities, we see a lot of plaque. We see also that the nutritional statements like what we eat.
Right.
And there are things that are not healthy, and it's going to give them more cavity. And that's the reason why we told bring the kids up to the age of 0 or 1 and 2, 3, so we can be able to give instructions to the parents and teach the kids not to have any fear. So when they later to the age of 4 or 5, they feel like it's a walk in the park to go to the dentist.
I see, and they eliminate that fear.
That's correct.
Now, what kind of relationship do you see between the dental health of the children versus the dental health of the parents?
That's a good question. Well, unfortunately, it's very similar. Sometimes we see kids that have no cavities, they have a good oral hygiene, they have a good oral health, and we see the parents with the same, kids follow the same patterns of the parents. The parents go to the dentist on a regular basis, and they're going to do the same thing for the kids. And some occasions we have parents that have a negative experience when they were young, and they don't want the kids to go through the same, so they will bring the kids to the dentist.
Ah, okay. I thought you were going to say that they hold off on bringing the kids.
No.
I see. So
definitely
it works the other way around.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, would you say, in your professional opinion, that early intervention, if you will, or early attention to dental care in children has an impact on whether or not they will need orthodontic work?
Not necessary, but it's important when you go to the dentist at an early age and we take x-rays, we see if you are a good candidate or not for orthodontic treatment, or if your teeth or permanent teeth are going to come straight up, or if there's any space that needs to be expanded or anything like that. So that's why it's so important to bring the kids, and we can do a full evaluation and determine what is the next step.
But you can't determine that while they still have their baby teeth, as they're called.
Not until all the permanent molars or the permanent teeth are in place. That's when you can determine more or less if the kid is going to need or not orthodontic treatment.
And about what age do those permanent teeth and molars start to really
we will say to the age, after 9, 10 years old.
Okay. So by then they should really have their full complement of teeth.
Most likely.
And what about the wisdom teeth? What's the story with the wisdom teeth? I mean, I hear things like that, fewer and fewer people are actually developing wisdom teeth, that they're not as common as they were. Is that true?
Well, it's not that it's as common as they were before. Yes, it is true. Some of the new generation now, and they don't, for some reason, they don't have the wisdom tooth, but some of them, they do have it. It is also important to have a full set of x-rays because we can evaluate it, either impacted or not, impacted when they still bury into the bone, and they're not coming in a position there is the right position, and most likely we need to do an extraction.
So if x-rays reveal, and I don't want to get too detailed in this, but if x-rays reveal that there are wisdom teeth that are impacted but are not causing any pain, any discomfort of any kind, does an orthodontist still, or an oral surgeon still, want to go in and remove them?
Sometimes what we do is we put a watch on it. Periodically we go into the dentist, we take x-rays. If we feel they're not causing any problems and they're not pushing the teeth in front, we just leave it alone.
Okay, so in other words, if it's not bothering you, don't bother it.
Well, not necessary. We make sure that it's not in a position that is going to impact the teeth that are in front.
Okay. And so share with our viewers, Doctor, what are some of the basic hygienic procedures that parents should follow for their children and actually for themselves as well?
Well, obviously, we want the kids to brush their teeth. We want the parents...
How often? Is it really after every meal or is twice a day
Ideally,
sufficient?
it would be nice, but I'm sure that when the kids are in school, they're not going to say, excuse themselves, I'm going to the bathroom to brush my teeth. Okay. I wish. Mm-hmm. But we want, at least in the morning and at nighttime, I always encourage the patient to, at nighttime, to make sure they brush their teeth before they go to bed.
And that's and what about flossing at an early age?
Flossing is great. They have a special dental floss for kids that comes with the handles, and it's easy for the kids to be able to start flossing the teeth, and we teach them how to floss the teeth.
Because I'm sure that there's a method to
yes,
the flossing.
Definitely it is.
You know, and of course there's an old adage that says that the question that's asked, well, which teeth should I floss? And the answer is, of course,
the one you want to keep.
The ones you want to keep, exactly. So we hope that they want to keep them all, right?
Definitely.
So is this free service that's going to be offered on the 21st? Is that something that is ongoing, or is that just a special day because of the oral hygiene or the oral
It is a
health
special.
month?
We're doing a special event because it's the month of oral health. Every year we're going to be doing a free screen by the same month because it's the month of oral health.
Okay, but throughout the course of the year, those dental services, they're not free?
Not necessary.
Okay, and how would parents who want to take advantage and introduce their kids into good oral dental health, how do they get around the cost of that,
well,
if at all?
We take the majority of the insurers, most likely. We take almost all the insurers. We participate with a lot of them, so the patients can always call and find out. Plus, also, we have a fee for service. We have a good scale that the prices are very affordable.
Okay, and now, is this going to take place at the clinic on Upper Broadway?
It's going to be taking place in 2 clinics right now. It's going to take place on the Riverdale Clinic, the North Broadway. That's the 5500 Broadway. And it's also going to be taking place in the clinic in Wakefield. That used to be the Monty North Clinic. And that's by 233rd Street and Bronx Boulevard area. We're going to be doing it I believe we're going to do it from 10 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, from 10 to 5, I believe it is.
Okay, well, we're showing it on our screen to the viewers, and it does indicate that it is on Thursday, February 21st, obviously this year, from 10 to 3, according to the information that was provided to us, and it will be held then at the North Broadway Dental Clinic at 5500 Broadway in Upper Manhattan, as well as, as you indicated, the Wakefield Dental Facility at 4234 Bronx Boulevard.
Actually, let me add something else. We increased the hour to 5 o'clock because we feel that if we're doing this free screening for the kids going to school until 3. So we increased the hours until 5, so the way there's no excuse that my kid is in school and cannot participate. So after school, tell them to stop by over there, and then we can do a free screening.
That's a great update for our viewers, so that the information that we showed to you on the screen, instead of from 10 to 3, please know that it will be from 10 to 5, so that, as the doctor said, you can take advantage of the extra couple of hours. For when the kids come out of school, you can take them over and have this free checkup to their benefit as well as to yours. Doctor, as always, a great pleasure to have you on the show, and it's good to see you.
Nice to be here again. Thank you.
Keep up the good work with all those young teeth.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about an effort to save our schools. But first, Assemblyman Mark Jonaj was sworn in as the first Albanian-American elected official in the Bronx, and our cameras were there. So let's take a look.
It was a proud day for Albanian Americans, as Mark Jonaj was the first Albanian to be sworn into the New York State Legislature. The ceremony took place in Columbus High School, where over 1,000 people attended.
I shall faithfully execute the duties of a member of the New York State Assembly to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Judge McKeon was the master of ceremonies and administered the oath.
Yes, it is a proud day for Albanian Americans. But it's a proud day for everyone who calls this community, myself, my wife, and the countless others in this audience, their home. Because whether you're Albanian American or not, you have the blessing of having a good and decent man speaking to you in the New York State Assembly.
Senator Jeffrey Klein said, Jonai is taking his expertise in business to make the community and state of New York a better place.
Here's someone who's been so successful in the business world. He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to trek up to Albany 3, 4, 5 times a week, 6 months out of the year, 2.5-hour trip. He does it for a very simple reason. He does it because he believes in this community. He does it because he understands that he's going to take his expertise and he's going to make our community and the state of New York that much better.
U.S. Senator Charles Schumer said, Jonai and his family are an example of the American dream success story and have overcome many struggles.
If you want to have faith in the future of America, look at this audience. People who work hard, who came to America with nothing, but they struggled like Mark's parents, and they believed in America. And now this community has begun to achieve great success.
The New York City Comptroller, John Liu, described Jonai as a Bronx native who is well aware of the troubles that need to be solved.
This is a man that knows how to work hard. Born and raised in the Bronx, he's got deep roots here. He's an accomplished entrepreneur and business owner, and he's been generous in giving back to the community for a long time. He knows the issues. And he's ready to fight with all of us here.
Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz said Jonai exhibits the right work ethic and is paving the path for future Albanian Americans.
When you look at the character, when you look at the fortitude of Mark, he understands that this is bigger than he is. He understands that it's about him opening doors. So in the future, perhaps there'll be an Albanian borough president, or an Albanian mayor of the city of New York, or an Albanian governor.
Today is not just about me, or it's not a story about a family that immigrated to this great country where I was fortunate to be born.
Jonai said he is supported by the best and promises to put the community's interests first. He seeks to make the Bronx a better place to live, raise a family, and prosper. This is Destiny De Jesus for BronxNet.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Ramon Rodriguez. And remember, we want to hear from you, so tweet us at BronxNet TV. Although a final decision has not been made, the Department of Education has proposed taking 2 larger Bronx high schools and dividing them into smaller institutions. Many say that this will not solve the problem and that the Department of Education is setting up these schools to fail. Our next guest has taken a stand to fight to save our Bronx schools, and we welcome Assemblyman Michael Benedetto, who is on the line with us this morning. Assemblyman, good morning, and thank you for being with us.
Ramon, my pleasure, and thank you for having me.
So tell me, A, why have these schools that are targeted to close targeted, and what exactly has caused these closures?
Well, I can only tell you what I believe to be the case. The Board of Education, of course, will give a completely different view of this. But I really believe that the closure of Lehman High School, which is the school in my district that I'm most concerned with, but I believe Clinton also falls into this, is a direct result of a fight that the mayor is having with the teachers union, the UFT.
And that fight continues? Because that was the fight, of course, over the whole issue of teacher evaluations and, of course, the absence of an agreement between the teachers union and the city, causing some $250 million in less in school aid that the city will receive.
The mayor made his announcement for closing down, I believe it was something like 32 schools a year ago in his State of the City address. This came within 10 days or 2 weeks after the UFT and the mayor's office couldn't reach agreement on an evaluation system. One was a direct result of the other. They'll deny that, but in my mind, there is no doubt about this. The annoying thing about this, besides it being just a blood feud between the mayor and the union, okay, is the fact that Lehman High School was a functioning high school, a good high school which served the community very well for many years. They forced the former principal out of that office, and they instituted their own hand-picked administration to run the school. That began the decline. They also overloaded the school with special education population, okay, which skewed the score results against Lehman High School. And then, after several years of misadministration, they finally put in a new principal who was beginning to make changes and make progress in the school, and that's when they announced the close down. Now, they created the problem. When improvement is happening, they decided we're going to close it down. It's a terrible thing to do to the community. It's a terrible thing to do to the teachers. It's a worse thing to do for the students in the area.
Now, Assemblyman, when you say they, you're referring to DOE, the Department of Education, the city itself, in terms of the decisions that they made as it relates to the principals of the school?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And mark my words, okay? This is the decision of the Department of Education. However, it's really Mayor Bloomberg.
Okay. So now
the mayor has control. The mayor's the one making decisions here.
So here's the question that may be obvious, that certainly because it's so obvious, I can't fail to ask it. So what happens to these students attending the schools that are targeted, and let's focus specifically now on Lehman High School? Does not does not the closing of that school cause some sort of a residual overcrowding wherever else these students now need to attend school? I mean, it seems like that would be the result of this, would it not?
It could be. What the Department of Education will probably say is that, well, we're creating new schools that are going to fit into Lehman High School. There might be 3 of them, 4 of them, I forget which. And so all of these students would be picked up in that manner.
I see.
There is an arrogance that comes across with the decisions being made, that we know best for everybody, and we're going to take care of you, like we're little children, like the parents have no decision in this process. Now, of course, they'll say, "Oh no, we're having public hearings, and we're, the panel for educational policy is going to meet, and they'll talk about it." But that's just a formality. Mm-hmm. And mark my words, while they will say, "Well, the decision has not been made," I say the decision was made a year ago. And since they were thwarted in the courts by the UFT in the lawsuit, and the courts determined that they did not follow correct procedure, they just made sure they followed the correct procedure this time, and it's all a formality. It's a terrible state, and the mayor proclaims that he's trying to help students. It's all about the students. and it's not. It's all about the mayor and the mayor's agenda, and he knows best, and we don't know anything, and it's sad.
So, Assemblyman, when is Lehman targeted for closure, or the other schools?
Well, I'm not exactly sure of their plans, but formally, once the vote is taken, which I believe is at the end of this month or next month, that's the panel for educational policy, they would probably have a closure date of June 30th and reopen the next day with a whole new set of schools within the Lehman complex itself.
Kind of what they did with Walton High School when they created several schools within that one structure.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So,
and you know, I certainly understand some of the reasoning with the Department of Education, the reasoning of smaller schools, and possibly that would work. However, if a school is working, why are they tampering with it? And that was the fact that was happening at Lehman High School before they began to meddle with it.
Yeah.
I believe the mayor has a grand plan to dismantle all the large schools, make all these smaller schools, and do it his way, and ruin the traditions and ruin the community involvement in the school that has been existing for 25, 30, in some cases, 100 years. And it's kind of sad, and I believe overall the students are losing out.
Well, I guess it remains to be seen what exactly will be carried out and accomplished during the course of the rest of this calendar year, since of course this calendar year would mark the end of the mayor's third term in office. But Assemblyman, I wanted to ask you, as far as the hearings are concerned that are scheduled, I know that there's one scheduled for Lehman High School, one at Clinton, that will be taking place soon, that our viewers are now having an opportunity to see on their screens at home, of the dates and the times that these hearings will take place, in order to afford the communities an opportunity to voice their either support or opposition for the closures that are proposed. Can you tell us just a little bit about those hearings?
Well, the hearings happened in the past too. Last year, when they were trying to close, they will give the opportunity to parents to speak. They will give the opportunity for the elected officials to speak. They will publicly declare that no decision has been made as yet. And people will do their testimony. It may take several hours, and they'll be very patient and very courteous to everybody who appears to testify. But in the end, I really believe that decision has been made. I certainly urge all parents, all teachers, all students to show up for the hearings. I believe the one for Lehman is on Tuesday, February 26th. I might be wrong on that.
We can put that back up on the screen.
And let your voices be heard. At the very least, the mayor will know that this community is very much against what they're doing, and this is seriously hurting the mayor's legacy, and especially when he ran for election to be the education mayor. And I think time will show that instead of being the education mayor, he'll be one who severely hurt education in the city of New York and the children in the city of New York.
Well, Assemblyman, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to share with us some of your thoughts and perspectives on these apparently imminent closings of these schools, and thank you for your participation. And for those hearings on the school phase-outs and co-locations, please visit the Department of Education's website and scroll down to, and I'm going to say this slowly for you viewers so that if you have an opportunity to write it down, please do so. You would scroll down to schools.nyc.gov/about-us/leadership/PEP /public notice /2012-2013 /March 112013 proposals.htm. I know that was a lot. I hope you got it down, but if not, on your screens right now, you would have been able to see the dates for these hearings, and we certainly encourage you to attend if you and or your children will be impacted. Well, we have to take a quick break right now, but when we return, we'll hear about a tour to showcase the rich African-American history of the Bronx. So don't change that channel. We'll be right back.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
I remember how much you said you liked mine.
Oh.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
We can all be energy savers. It's easy. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off electronics and appliances when not in use. Make a change and we can really fly. Learn more at energy.gov/kids.
This is so cool, Dad.
Awesome.
This is so cool, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Ramon Rodriguez. The Woodlawn Cemetery has created a special walking tour in honor of Black History Month. This tour highlights prominent African-American figures that have been buried in the Bronx. Here to share more about the tour and the significance of learning about the influential history of African-Americans in the Bronx is the Woodlawn Cemetery Director of Programs, Cristiana Peña. Welcome, Cristiana, and thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I know that the Woodlawn Cemetery has a very long history, and it's certainly been has become the final resting